to load up and go live. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram. What's happening, gang? Thanks for anyone jumping on. If you're watching this on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay, just so I know how many people do watch this. People jumping on now, what's happening? Anyone jumping on, just leave me an emoji in the comments, please, to let me know that you can hear me and you can see me okay. And then we will get going. I'm not going to hang around too much on this one. We've got a fair bit to cover. We've got quite a bit of value to fucking deliver to you guys. So you're going to get a lot from this live, from this episode. Right, we've got it populating nicely now. Making sure that we're good on everything. Cool. Right, we'll give it about 30 seconds and then we are going to get into this live, which I'm going to be covering. What do we need to improve our blood glucose control and manage our diabetes? This is what I'm going to be getting into. Right, shall we hit record? Shall we get into it? 3, 2, 1. What's happening, squad? Welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Movement Podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what do we need as Type 1 diabetics to improve our control, to manage our blood sugar levels, and to manage our diabetes. I will say before we get started, I've got a bit of a cough or a sore throat coming on, so I'm going to try and get through it. Sometimes when I string more than 2 sentences together, I end up coughing, so please do bear with me. Just like that, sorry. I'm not being a dirty bastard, but I just wanted to make you guys aware first. So anyway, before we get going, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more Type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Also, feel free to give it a screenshot, whatever device or platform you're listening to it on. Share it on your Instagram stories, share it on Facebook, just so I can reach out and say thank you. Excuse me. Right, we're going to get straight into this. I'm going to get straight into it. And I thought instead of just blaring out a load of shit like sometimes do on these episodes, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit of a story, right? So if any of you have got me on socials, you know I love music. I like to DJ. I've always liked music for years, since I was like, probably I want to say like 15, 16. So I've always had this thing in the back of my mind of, oh, I'd love to learn to DJ. So in December 2019, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, it's a skill. Hopefully I can learn it. If not, I've not lost anything. So, excuse me, I was like, right, went to, I think it was Argos, bought myself a very cheap sort of controller. Now, a controller is something that it's not like proper DJ decks. It's something that you plug into your laptop and you get software on it, and basically you can learn to DJ on it. It's a very cheap controller. So I bought that. I didn't know anything about DJing at all. I was just putting 2 songs on them and fucking about, and so I knew fuck all. I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, there's a nice little button called sync on there. Yeah. So basically you hit this button and it syncs everything up, all the beats, all that sort of stuff. So basically you're in time. And I was using that. Yeah. And I played around with that for a little bit. I thought it was becoming all right. And anyway, I decided to go and buy another controller because I didn't have any effects that you can put on when you DJ. And I have no effects on this controller because it was dead cheap. So I bought another controller and then I was like, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I decided to buy a course on DJing. This helped me learn about music and learn kind of how to beat match. Because when you're DJing, you've got to know about beats, bars, and phrases, and where to come in and matching the beats and all that sort of shit. This course taught me that, and I learned how to learn about music, how to beat match, which is a key. These are the basics of DJing. I learned about mixing in key, so songs like sound good together, and then different effects and stuff like that. What I then did after about, I'd say, 2 years of fucking about on cheap controllers and actually going through the course, what I then did is I went and bought myself a set of proper decks. Yeah, a set of proper decks. This is like the mixer and 2 sort of CDJs, well, like XDJs. But I bought myself a very decent setup now. Now, look, because I've taken the time to learn about the basics of DJing and learn about music, I'm pretty confident now that I could play on anything. Put anything in front of me and I could probably, I'm not the fucking greatest, do you know what I mean? But I could put together a mix on anything because I know the basics. Yeah. So what I'm saying with this is Because when it comes to managing our diabetes, and this is why it's very similar, I see and hear from a lot of type 1s that they want a CGM, they want an insulin pump, they want an insulin pump with a closed loop system, they want to use Basal IQ, they want to use all this stuff. Yeah. This would have been the same as me buying the DJ deck setup that I've got now, not understanding, without doing the course, without fucking about with the controllers, not understanding about music, just getting these decks, plonking them down, setting them up, probably going to fucking set them up, setting them up and being like, right, what the fuck do I do? Because I've not learned the basics. And this is the same when it comes to managing our diabetes. Things like closed loop, Basal IQ, I speak about this a lot, even like CGMs, are fucking great. But, and I say this a lot, they're not going to put a fucking, it's like putting a plaster over a cut that needs stitches. Yeah. If you struggle with managing your blood glucose levels, this is the shit that you need that I'm going to go through now, because it's not the next bit of tech. Yeah. It's not the next bit of tech. Like I said, if I would have got myself, or let's say I would have found myself in a club with a massive DJ setup and I didn't understand about music, I'd be like, what the fuck? Because I didn't understand the basics. And this is what's going to happen to you. Let's say you're on pens and you get a pump and you don't understand the basics. You're going to be like, what the fuck? There's so much here. I don't get it. So this is why I wanted to do this episode. It's the basics. Once you master these basics, you will be able to manage your blood sugar levels and your diabetes regardless of the sort of bit of kit or technology or how you're testing, or if you got a pump or if you got pens. It doesn't fucking matter. These are just tools. It's like fucking DJ equipment and stuff like that. It's just tools. It's your brain behind it that you've got to understand it. And these are the basics. These are the only things that you need to improve your blood glucose control and have better control over your diabetes. So I'm going to go through them now. Obviously, the most basic, simple things that we can have as type 1s to manage our blood sugar levels is pen injections and a finger prick. With those two basic things, you fucking nail your control on that, you can control your blood sugar levels of anything. And that's straight up. But there's some things that you need to understand, and this is exactly what I'm going to go through now. These are the basics you need to know in diabetes management. If you don't understand any of these, it's fucking pointless in getting an insulin pump. Probably pointless in getting it. Well, CGM's going to help you a little bit, but it's pointless if you don't know how to see the data. It's going to be pointless in trying Basal IQ. It's going to be pointless in going on a closed loop system. You need to, those things work off your brain. You need to understand these basics. The first thing is, you've got to fucking understand how insulin works. This is like with me learning to DJ. I needed to learn about beats, bars, and phrases. And it's the same for us. You need to understand how insulin works. Yeah. You need to know how to test your rates and ratios, your basal rate, your insulin to carb ratio, bolusing for fats and proteins, pre-bolus, correction factor, all that sort of shit. If you're using pens and you don't know that stuff, when you get an insulin pump, you're going to be fucking way out your depth. You really are. So you need to know all your rates and ratios. Yeah. You need to understand how different foods impact your blood glucose levels. There's certain foods, given 30 grams of carbs from certain food or 30 grams of carbs from a sort of different food, depending on how it's mixed with a meal, depending on not really glycemic index, because that goes out of shit unless you're eating it solely. But you need to understand how different foods, not just certain macros, how different foods impact your blood sugar levels. And then you need to understand about exercise and how that's going to impact your blood sugar levels. That's it. Honestly, team. Understand these basics and you can manage your blood sugar levels with anything. Same with me, we're learning to DJ. I understand how to beat match. I understand how music's made. Those are the two main components that you need, that I'd need to go and sort of DJ and put a mix together on anything. You need to flip that and look at that as in managing your diabetes. Understand how insulin works. Know how to test all your rates and ratios. Understand how different foods impact your blood sugar levels. Excuse me. And understand about exercise. Nail them and you can manage it with anything. And this is the issue that I see a lot of in the type 1 community. Let's say someone with finger prick, or they might have a Libre and they've got pens and they're like, my blood glucose control is shit. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to get a pump. I'm going to go on a closed loop. I'm going to use Basal IQ. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You can't just throw more bits of tech into your management when you don't know and understand how to manage it with the basics. It takes work. This is what we teach with all of our clients. It takes work, but trust me, it's fucking worth putting it in. And I always say this, what if, because we don't know about this team, like, what if one day we was to lose all of our CGM access? What if one day pumps fail quite a lot, actually. Your pump was to fuck up. All this technology we have access to, what if it was gone and we was back on the good old finger pricks and just injections? You need to understand the basics, and those are the basics. I'm going to recap them. Get these fucking right, and you can manage your blood sugar levels with anything. It doesn't fucking matter. First one, understand how your insulin works. Know how to test your rates and ratios. Understand how different food impacts your blood glucose levels, and understand how exercise impacts your blood glucose levels. I will say this again. I know I keep saying it. Get those fucking right. Get those right before you start layering in more complex things like a pump, looking at certain sorts of data on your CGM, trying to use Basal IQ, going onto a closed loop system. Get these fucking basics right. We've had clients, and I'll be honest, that have come in and they've been using an insulin pump and they've been like, you know what? I'm not too keen on it. I think I'm going to go back to pens. Gone back to pens, understood these 5 things I've just been through. I think there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Sorry, get my fucking numbers mixed up looking at my notes. They understood all these because we coached them, we taught them through it, and they've stayed on pens. You can still manage it. On the basic bits of shit we have access to, understand the basics, you can still manage it. Team, that is it. I want you to remember this because it's a little bit frustrating when I hear this from other type ones, like, I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that, because this is going to solve all my fucking problems. No, it's not. You're the one who is going to solve your problems in terms of managing your levels by putting the work in and understanding these basics. It's not something outside of your control, like getting the next bit of tech. It doesn't fucking work that way. As I said, it's like me being thrown on to a big fucking stage with massive sick DJ setup and being like, I don't know how to beat match or I don't understand music. I'm going to be fucked. And it's the same principle. Team, that is it. If you got value from this episode, hopefully you did, please leave me a rating and review on the podcast app. And thank you very, very much for listening. Until the next episode, have a fucking great day. Peace. Right, people, there's a few people left on. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to stay on for a minute. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to type them out, stick them in the comments. Quite happy I got through that without fucking choking too much. Have a quick look for you guys on Facebook. We've got no questions. Quick look for you guys on Instagram. Cool. No questions. Mega. Right. Thanks for tuning in to the live, everyone. Hopefully you guys got some value from that. Just remember, we'll recap. Learn the basics, and it doesn't fucking matter what you use in terms of tech or physical sort of things to manage your diabetes. As long as you use the basics, learn the basics and understand them. Team, that's it. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Have a great day. Till the next live. Peace.